News, analysis, interviews, and fun. This is the State Line Sports Hour, presented by Lincoln Rental and Sales on Newstalk 1440 WROK.
Good morning, everybody. Dave Schmidt along with Matt Nestor and producer Tom Warner. Good to have you along on a Saturday morning, July 19th, 2014. Going to shift gears now and go right on to football. And with us right now, we have a very special guest, former Boylan running back, and now he's headed to South Alabama, Tyrese Thomas. Hey, Tyrese, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, congratulations. Boy, it's been a 2-year drive to get to D1, but you're finally going to make it.
And that's exactly what I would say, finally. I've been a long time, and it's so easy to lose sight of the goal. It's so easy to, have so many things influence you the wrong way. And then there's a flip side to have people help you, and I'm only blessed to have people, come into my life and influence me such a way to obtain, such a goal like this. So I'm very blessed to have that.
As I say, you rewind a couple of years ago. How tough was it to, maybe not have that opportunity right off the bat, and what pushed you through to get to that point now?
It's tough for anybody. Anybody will tell you, any athlete, unless they played for many years as a young kid, nobody would ask to take this route. I'm almost guaranteeing you that if you ask someone, a young athlete, what they want to take a route that I did, they would not pick it. What kept me through it was actually I have to thank my parents, because at a young age they taught me to be strong. They taught me everything would not go your way. As hard as I worked or as, all that stuff, at the time it did not happen. All that was out the window. It was go forward or, be left behind. So I just definitely wanted to push into another gear and be able to push through that, definitely.
As we look back at that and at those teams that you were on there at Boylan, were you surprised that there wasn't more, Division I offers, not just for you, but it seemed like for other guys, for as good as you guys were there for a couple of years there, winning a couple of titles?
Around town, that question seems to surface a lot. At year 2012, our team, our graduates, we were, pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
A real good team. We had offense, defense, everybody was, but like I said, some things just don't go your way. Obviously there's a bunch of stuff people could, suspect, or there's a bunch of stuff that people could make their own assumptions. The bottom line is we are where we are now, so
mm-hmm.
I really congratulate those who are still trying, and I really am blessed to be able to have made it.
Tyrese, how big was the move from college at DePage out to Dodge City Community College, where they really like their football out there?
Yeah, I tell you what, I always tell this story to people who ask me that question. I had probably about 3 or 4 days to make that decision. And I still was a freshman in college. I'm still a young guy. I'm still family-oriented. So I'm like, man, I'm here in 14 hours away on a train.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never rode a train before. I've never been to Kansas before, So I'm just thinking like, man, this is, but this could be tough, But I was thinking, their football down there is very cherished. And if I'm going to be able to make it or have a better chance to making it where I want to go, that's pretty much where I got to go. But I will tell you this. When I got to Kansas, the smell was so ridiculous. I think the first train home, I got back on it when we got a break. As soon as we got a break, I came back home, and I loved Rockford.
When you look at your JUCO career there, what were some of the things you decided you needed to work on to be able to get to the level you're at now?
I will say everything. To narrow it down, obviously speed is always something that'll help you on the field. You can never be too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that run so many fast speeds and, so good, like great 40s, and they just still don't get to where they want to be. But definitely the speed aspect. And I wanted to really complete myself, as far as catching, blocking. I know pass protection is not an easy task at the running back position. I've seen guys 6'7", coming at me like I'm shorter than 6 foot. So it's like I definitely want to complete myself. I know I would do some of the receiver drills in practice when I got the chance. I didn't want to shy away from the basics of being a running back, but to be complete is just, that's so glorifying.
I watched some of the highlights that they've had from your junior college career, and you still hit that hole and take off. Is that kind of because of those 6'7" guys chasing you? I mean, you just flat out get through that hole just as quick as anybody I've ever seen, Tyrese.
You know, sometimes they would call it running scared. Honestly, can sit here and tell you I was running for my life. and I mean that in the sense of for my future, in the sense of they are 6'7". I mean, if I had a choice, I would not let those guys hit me. But I knew that's sort of the thing that I've been able to do. I've been able to control my whole football career. You know, I haven't always had top end speed. I haven't always had, you know, the explosion to really finish a 60-yard run or so. But this year, somehow, I was just very, very determined to show people that I'm still able to do what I did in high school. And I worked through the summer to be able to finish longer runs. So I think with the guys being so big, it may have definitely played a role within how I got through the holes and such.
You know, when we look at your decision to go to South Alabama, you know, on paper it sounds like you had some pretty good offers out there, or higher level, if you will, or whatnot. But what was it about South Alabama that made you say, you know, this is the place for me?
And I say this humbly. The ones that were on paper, I actually had more than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was a lot of stuff going on. It was a lot of thoughts to be processed. South Alabama was actually the first offer that I got back in the spring. I say about 2 years ago. I wouldn't want to give you a specific time. I don't really know. But they were the first offer I got. And at that time, I'm thinking, okay, I've heard of South Alabama. Don't really know too much about them. I did some research, but no way at all did I think, okay, this is a school for me. You know, right then I'm like, okay, well, who's else going to come out? You know, and that's very, you know, that's very weird to say, thinking like, who else am I going to get? Because I should have been thankful for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But, I looked them up, and then they stayed with me through the whole time. They would call, we would talk, with just great relationship would start. I would speak to the head coach, the assistant coach, and then I found out they graduated 26, 28 players, and they finished 6-6. And then all the other schools, you know, they still had new fresh running backs. There still was just a thought of competition. So I just wanted some equal opportunity. Definitely. And obviously, with me not being so premier on my speed, I was thinking the Sun Belt Conference is definitely a place where I can excel. Hopefully, that's what I'm looking for. So that was definitely. There was so much going on to make that decision, and I think I made a good one.
I think you did good, because Demery Croft's going to Minnesota where it snows and it's cold. You're going to South Alabama where it's nice. So you made a real good choice, Tyreis.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And Demery, he'll do good wherever he goes. I've seen the guy play, but I tell you what, there's nothing like playing on that, you know, in front of the nice sun. And I've played cold games, and you guys noticed that when I played at Boylan. And when those hands and feet get cold, it is just another atmosphere.
You know. When you look at your journey, you know, if you're back in town, you know, I don't know if they ever ask you to come and talk to different players, you know, some of the younger guys. You know, what's something you would tell those people, you know, when you look at your own journey about how far, you know, they can go and how hard they have to work?
You know, there's two things I would tell them. Number one, it's very cliche, but I would say never give up. You know, there's so much stuff that'll influence you. There's so much stuff that'll just shift you different ways. There's all sorts of mental processes that you'll go through in phases and stuff, and things won't go your way, but you cannot give up. And it's obviously it's cliche, and they may hear from others, but that is something that I've really had to experience over the years firsthand. Secondly, I would say there's a great amount of work that has to be done to accomplish anything. And this is outside of sports. This is, you know, this is everyday life. You want to be successful, there's so much work you have to put into it to be able to obtain. You know, you have to do what others won't to get what others don't have. You know, so, and I guess that could go both ways, but I would definitely tell them, there's just so much work that you have to put in. And I actually have been down to Boylan a couple times and worked out with some of the varsity players, actually Demery and the other guys, and even players from my old team go down there and run on the track sometimes, and you know, just to see everyone working, you know, that's always just good to see, because that's what gets you through it. You know, it helps you mentally just as much as it does physically.
Well, Tyreis, thanks so much for coming on. I know it's early in the morning, but I appreciate it, and we'll be Jaguar fans this next couple of years, and we wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you so much. I am jumping back into bed. So you guys have a great day. You have a great day.
There you go. That's the first honest guy we've ever had on the show.
Right.
I'm jumping right back in bed. I love it. What a great interview, though.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, kids? Don't give up. That's what he said. Do not give up.
Yep, no matter what you do.
Tyrese Thomas going to South Alabama. We're going to take a little bit of a time out here on the State Line Sports Hour. We'll be right back here on News Talk 1440 WROK.